Hi, my name is Glenn Storm. I'm from Hot Iron Productions, and today we're talking about Pixel Dungeon Dojo. This is a Unity tutorial project that also offers you the ability to make infinite dungeon levels in a pixel art arcade dungeon crawling game. And what I'd like to show you today is what it looks like in the engine and how it performs as the game. I guess we could look at the game first, right? So I've just started from the main menu of the project, and you'll just see it looks like a game. This game is casual, it's simple, and it's made to be something that you can give to your friends and they're just going to enjoy. Pretty much anyone's going to be able to play this. It's got a simple combat system. You hold a sword and you run into an enemy. You can cause a hit and take out the easy enemies, or enemies that have more than one hit are going to be able to loot drop and things like that. Okay. If we look at the credits really quick, what you're going to see is not only are the credits there for, say, the music composer and the sample levels, but these levels here, the Super Dungeon, that was just made. I'm showing you that your name is going to be in the credits when you make dungeon levels. So let's take a look at that. If I open up the package, you'll see there's a lot of assets that you have. The prefabs is going to be the place you get most of your stuff. You're going to be dragging stuff into your scene. But let's look at that Super Dungeon. How did I make that, you're asking? Well, first thing I did was I made a folder and I called it Super Dungeon. Done. Literally, that's all that needs to happen. As long as it's in a scenes folder, this is recognized as a potential dungeon with levels in it. It does look for levels in it. These scenes have to have a name convention for your name to be recognized, but they all follow this convention. So you can see it's just the level name and then your name with a hyphen in between, and that's it. This was enough for the game to understand that your name should be in the credits. How did you make that? What do you do? Well, I guess the first thing I might show you is that this is a top-down game, and you're going to have the ability to drag in prefabs for all the items you need, including pieces of the level architecture, as well as the items and characters. So at the same time, I'm showing you that they can all be organized in what looks like folders in your scene, just like there are folders in your project. This is because we have, as one of our tools, things that make game objects act like folders. It's a pretty simple idea, but wow, is it really helpful to organize when you have very large levels. I started this dungeon with this entryway level, and you go down these stairs, and it picks up again from here. You can see stairs up, and then it goes down here, and there's a lava pit. There's other enemies here. There's crates that can be destroyed. There's keys and doors. There's checkpoints here you can see in yellow. And so you can get the key, go through the door, and you go to the next level. This has some traps. It has a little bit more difficult combat to go through, and then you go down some more stairs. And I made this level 3, and so there's more going on here. I have keys and doors and traps. This pressure plate launches a repeating series of wall shooters that shoot these magical bolts out of the wall, and that makes the entire room super dangerous. If you can get to this switch, though, you can open this door and get out of here. In other words, puzzles, traps, and monsters. You'll notice there are items like this story scroll, so you can offer your players a little bit of story along the way, just like they pick up something and read it and put it down. And then they're down this flight of stairs to the next level. Well, let's make that next level. What does that look like? I'm not going to have too much time, but I will show you this. If I open up a template scene, I can save as into this folder I called Super Dungeon. So let's do that. Save as Super Dungeon, and I'll call it level 4. And I've already started this level. I can hit play right now, and there's nothing in it, but my character is there, ready to go. And in fact, I can set up the music for it right here. And I've already got one of these prefabs in here with that folder organization for each area. Let's call this entry area. And if I uncollapse it, you see it is already organized. And it's made to be here so that you can, as you drag in pieces, like we might drag in some floor. That's a great way to start. Oh, I should do the stairs up first, right? Stairs up because we just came down some stairs. That sounds like a good idea. Sorry, my camera was in the wrong place. If I look at tools, I get a handy one-button solution for almost everything, including set up the build and the view in the scene view and everything. Again, I have too much to show you in this project, so I'll just try to cut it short. But if while I'm talking, you see me just drag in a prefab and play with it, like with this tile snap tool, so that it's not only scaling the image tile, but it's also scaling any collision or child objects for shadows and things like that. What you might get the feeling is that this is actually really simple, and that's the whole point. I don't want to give you a tool that makes level design difficult. If you're familiar with level design, you'll understand that typically that's about a lot of detail and a lot of time-consuming technical details that are not as fun, frankly, not as fun as just building things the way you would expect to build something. In other words, hey, I can see that floor now. Now, where are the walls? Can I just throw the walls in there? Can I throw the corners in there? If I just rotate it, is it going to snap on the 90 degrees? Can I just scale it and be done with it? Yes, that's exactly what this is about. So I'm showing you, while I'm talking, I'm showing you what this looks like when you're building. And so now I have like an entry area. Let's see, let's make this even. I have an entry area where the pieces are already organized, and I might now decide, okay, what should I give my player right here in the beginning? I can also, like I said, set the music. Let's go for just random music right now. And if I hit play, I can test it right now. This is a best practice. I'm going to be able to see that, like, okay, yeah, they can go up the stairs, but by default it's set to say, oh, you're trying to escape. Would you like to quit the game, quit the level and go back to the main menu? And they can say no. You can also set it to be blocked, and it says none shall pass and things like that. In other words, you're in control. You're able to say, I'm going to give my character, or I'm going to give my player a steel sword, or I'm going to give them a trap. Like you're the dungeon master. That's the main idea. And if you think that it's important for you to give your player a speed potion, go for it. This is what you have is a game already made, and now you have the tools that allow you to do allow you to make an infinite number of levels. So that's cool. What does it look? How do I get this in the game? What do I do with this? I've saved it. Is that enough? What do I do? Well, the only other thing you need to do is make sure it's in the build profiles scene list, and then yeah, you're done. So I'm going to drag this in. Level 3 was already pointing to this level, so it's going to look like it's already going, but that's it. It's in the game now, actually. If I, let's see, start from the menu, I'll show you that level 4 sits here now as part of the credits. So I'll go to credits, and you can see the original sample dungeon, but then super dungeon, please. There you go. Level 4 was just added. So let's play. I would be remiss to neglect to tell you there are cheat codes here, sure, because cheat codes were actually made to help developers develop the game. They're not just for fun, although it is fun. But if you get stuck and you need to get to like level 4 and you don't want to spend all the time of getting there, you should be able to cheat and skip it and get there. Yes, you can also get swords, get health. You can remove all the enemies. You can open all the doors. These are things that you can do because they help the developer, the level designer. Okay, now I gotta concentrate on fighting. They help the level designer test what they need to test while they're working on it. Okay, so I've made these levels, and so you're watching me breeze through them because, frankly, I want to show you more of the game while I'm talking because I don't have a lot of time. What I'm doing is I'm breaking crates and opening them because there's loot inside and stuff. And now I'm going to cheat. Let's move on. That's actually the cheat code to skip the level. So that's a trap. I just ran over a pressure plate. It caused a wall shooter. I'm looking at a story scroll right now. It's telling me that, yeah, you should look before you leap. I'm getting hit right now. Okay. There's a handy sword that I placed there to spawn on a timer, so that those situations exactly like that can save me. Anyway, I'm showing you this level, but I don't need to show you, hey, there are badder enemies than that. There's the boss here that can do some cool stuff. There's other bosses as well, but I'm going to move on just in time. So here's a level I recently made. I was actually trying to do this as a time lapse. And what I have now is my character jumping through to try and get places. Let's see if I can... There you go. I got the key. I can get through the door. Let's move on. Because now I'm at level 4. Hey, this looks familiar, right? Yes. And I'm able to say, this is a level that I made. Wait, do you want to escape to the menu? Sure. So, when you're able to give this to your friends and say, I made this, and they're like, no way, and you're like, way, that's what's fun. But what's even more fun, I'll tell you right now, is when you can give this to friends who also make levels and give them back to you. Now you're trading ideas in level design. And as someone who got into game development through map making like that, I'll tell you right now, it's one of the most fun things you can do with friends. That's why the dojo is here. That's what we want to do. We want to offer the ability to make dungeon levels and share them with friends. And so to do that, we make sure that this is a set of tools that are easy to use, of course, but they're also modular, and they can make really complex systems if you want. We didn't have time to go through all the cool stuff, like switches and, well, the wall shooter we did show. But the point is, there's enemies, there's items, there's dynamic level elements, and with these things, you can make puzzles, traps, and monsters. When you have all of this available to you, you can focus on different level designs. You can practice level design. And that's what we really want to do. We want to make sure that this is a cozy environment to perform and practice level design. Thank you for your time.